Now getting more details on that, we go out to our clubhouse insider Peter Abraham at Target Field from the Boston Globe. And what is the word today on Shane Victorino, who's kind of been dealing with what he missed 9 games all told with his back before, Peter?
Yeah, that was the first thing I asked him, TC, whether this was related to the issue that caused him to miss those games earlier this month. And he said that it wasn't, that was an irritation of a disc in his lower back. And this was more of when he hit the wall yesterday, that his back stiffened up as he was standing out there in the outfield. And he doesn't think it's related to the issue that he had before. They didn't send him for tests today or anything like that. They just want to get him off his feet. And the belief is that he'll be able to play tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, on Sunday. So that's the good news. It doesn't sound like it's anything structural, which was the case earlier this month.
You know, there's been a little talk of that after the Victorino going hard into the wall at Fenway Park last Sunday. And we've seen other guys now going hard into the wall. It's kind of a talk about that fine line between playing as hard as Victorino does and trying to persevere through a long season. You got to love the way Victorino has played so far this season. But he doesn't mind slamming into a wall or diving on the turf to make a play, and you're probably losing from time to time because of that.
Yeah, it's a great point. If you're the manager of a baseball team, how can you tell a guy, hey, listen, we need you to play not quite as hard as you have been because you might hurt yourself? It's a difficult thing to do, and the players will tell you that if you play with that in your mind, you might be more likely to get hurt because you'll do something that you might not normally do. And Victorino says that he thinks he knows where the line is. If he feels like he can make a play, he's going to do everything he can do to make a play because he feels like that's his job, is to go out there and get an out when he's on defense. But if there's not an opportunity to make a play, and he was discussing this in the context of what happened with Bryce Harper earlier this week when he slammed into a fence in Dodger Stadium on a ball that he didn't catch. The way Shane sees it, if you can make a catch, it's worth the effort, and it's worth the potential injury. If you can't make a catch, you have to know when to pull up and do the smart thing. And both of those plays he made last night, the one to rob Jose Lobaton of at least a double when he hurt himself, and then he stayed in the game and made a nice over-the-shoulder catch on Desmond Jennings to end the inning. Both of those were plays that he could make, and that he, even if it did cost him today's game, he feels like it's worth it. And it's interesting when you look back at that 8th inning. Victorino might have saved the Red Sox a run there, and then they end up scoring 3 runs in the top of the 9th to win the game. So perhaps in this case, it was certainly worth it.
Yeah, it becomes a very important play when you look at those 2 catches, and you look at if they have to lose him for any extended time, as they did last time around. One of the options here. Now, Jackie Bradley Jr. is on the DL with a bicep. He's the latest Red Sox player with a bicep issue. Jeremy Hazelbaker hitting .292, had a nice spring training. Bryce has been hitting very well. So they're starting to build a little depth in the outfield position, aren't they, Peter?
Yeah, they are, and I think if Shane were to have something more serious, and it doesn't look like that's the case, they do have some attractive options, and Jackie Bradley would be somebody, obviously defensively, he's ready to play right now. He did have a lot of problems offensively towards the end of his initial stint with the Sox. Bryce has done some very good things in right field for Pawtucket. Jeremy Hazelbaker's a guy who's rebuilding his portfolio a bit as a prospect these last 2 years. So the Red Sox have built up some depth. Bradley is the only guy, I think, on the 40-man roster that they would be comfortable bringing up. So they're hoping that this isn't anything serious. And the other part of this that I think is interesting, too, is if Victorino were fully healthy, there's a chance you might have seen him in center field today with Jacoby Ellsbury getting a day off because Ellsbury has been struggling at the plate. And John Farrell has said he wants to get all of his regulars at least 1 day off in this stretch of 20 games in as many days. And now would probably be a good time for Ellsbury, given his recent struggles. But with Victorino having a bad back, you're not going to see that probably for another couple days at least.